Hello, it's Carly McAvoy. I'm talking about solving equations today. This is a review, so if this is new to you, you should go and watch the videos of one-step equations, two-step equations, and so forth. This is the overview. So first you want to do when you're solving an equation is get rid of parentheses if you have them. You can see on our examples here, we don't have any parentheses in A and B. We do have parentheses in C and D, and we also have parentheses in F. So sometimes you don't have to do every step because not everything is included. The second step says to simplify both sides of the equations by combining like terms. Again, you don't always have to do that. You can see that there are no like terms on the left or the right here. We're not going to have to simplify anything in that equation before we get started. Remember, like terms have the same variable to the same power. Step number 3, you're going to move your variable terms to one side and your constant terms to the other side. That might take 2 steps. A variable term is a term that has a variable in it, and a constant term does not have a variable in it. And then you're going to finally make the coefficient 1 by either multiplying and dividing. Right now the coefficient of this term is 7, this term is 4, this term is -7, so we always want the 1 to be in front of that, which we don't have to write, but we have to know that it's there. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. We're going to move the B's terms, or the variable terms here, to the left by subtracting 4 from both sides, 4b. That's going to leave us 3b plus 14 is -10. Then I'm going to move the constant terms to the other side, so I want to get rid of that 14, subtract 14 from both sides, and we get 3b equals -24. We want to make that coefficient 1. Right now it's 3. We do that by dividing by itself. The 3's cancel to 1. We don't need to write the 1, and we see that our answer is -8. If you wanted to check that, you would come down here and say 7 times -8 plus 14 is equal to 4 times -8 minus 10. I can see that that's -32 minus 10 is -42, and -56 plus 14 is also -42, and so that's how you could check that equation by substitution, but the answer is B equals -8. In the second one, we don't have parentheses, but we do need to combine like terms on both sides. On the left, we have -19 and +19 and -7, which is going to be 12x, and then we still have the -2. Always look at the operation in front of each term to decide if it's adding or subtracting. Over here, 31 plus 6 minus 15 is 22. We want to get that x term by itself, so add 2 to both sides, and 12x equals 24. Then we want to get that coefficient to be 1, so we'll divide both sides by 12, and we'll get x equals 2. That's going to be our answer. Again, you can go back and plug 2 in where you see x's and make sure that both sides of the equation are equal as a check. Now on part C, we are going to have to get rid of the parentheses, so we use the distributive law to do that. And so we're going to take 3 times x here to get 3x. 3 times -1 is -3. And then we're going to combine like terms, which is -3 and -12, or -15. We need to get the variable terms to the opposite side from the constant terms, so I'm going to move this over. I could have moved either one, it doesn't really matter. 3x equals 15. You'll see that I like to keep my variables on the left, totally not required. And then divide both sides by 3, and you get x equals 5. And again, you can go back and plug your 5 in here to check it. We can do that one. We have 5 minus 1 minus 12 should be 0. That is 3 times 4 minus 12 should be 0, or 12 minus 12 equals 0, and that's a quick check. So you could always plug back in to check. I'm not going to do that on all the examples here. Here we do need to get rid of parentheses again. 3 times 5c is 15c. 3 times 1 is 3. We don't have to do anything to the right side. Then we're going to combine like terms over here. We have 15c minus 9 is 13c plus 3. Get rid of the c term on the right by subtracting. 15 minus 13 is 2c. And then we're going to add 9 to both sides. You can always slow this down or shut me off altogether and try it, then come back and see. Divide both sides by 2 to get c equals 6. Again, I don't know for sure if that's right unless I check it, so I could go back and check that. Okay, and then over here on part E, we don't have anything to simplify on either side, so I'm going to add 8y to both sides. It may seem like we went backwards in difficulty here, but the point of this problem is we move the y's to the left. Now I'm going to move the numbers to the right, and I get negative y equals negative 5. And the point is, for this one, the why I included this was because you can't leave your variable as negative. And so when that says negative y, that really is negative 1y. So we want to divide both sides by negative 1 or times by negative 1, but we want to make this positive, and that's going to change the sign over here as well to give us y equals 5. All right, on this last one, we see a negative in front of a parentheses. Remember, that's really negative 1. So I'm multiplying negative 1 times p. That gives me negative p. Negative 1 times 9 gives me negative 9. 5 times 2p is 10p minus 5. And I'm going to combine like terms here. I have negative p. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. And over here, I don't need to do that. So now I'm going to subtract 10p from both sides, and that's going to give me negative 1 and negative 10, or negative 11p. And then I'm going to move this 5 over by adding 5 to both sides. That gives me negative 11p equals 0. That doesn't mean undefined. What happens here is if we divide both sides by negative 11, then p is 0. So if the 0 is on the top, it just means 0. If the 0 is in the denominator, that would be undefined. It's okay to get 0 for an answer. All right, that is the quick refresher on how to solve equations, and I will talk to you next time. Have a great day.